Questions, Q&A. Hi, everyone. I'll just give it another minute while I'm waiting for everybody to turn up so that we make sure that we've got a few more people in here. So just sit tight for a minute and we'll get everybody in and we'll chat soon. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Lacey Filipich. It is delightful to be able to talk to you today. And I'll just do a little bit of etiquette and then I'll get into a welcome on behalf of Perth College and then I'll talk a bit about the program. So we're using Zoom today. And if you haven't used Zoom before, what's happening at the moment is you talking and you being able to share your video is turned off. Now, the reason we do that is just so that I can talk to you without getting interrupted. And of course, if someone forgets to mute their microphone, things like that, we don't get interrupted in the background. Now, there is a Q&A panel. So you guys can go in to the Q&A. If you have questions you'd like to ask, if when I'm talking, you see something or you want to learn more about it, you can put your questions in there. What's going to happen is I'm not going to look at that while I'm talking because I get distracted easily. I don't know about you guys. But when I'm looking at a Q&A coming through, it can often interrupt your train of thought. So I won't look at the Q&A until the end. But if you've got a question you'd like to ask, feel free to type it in as we're going through. And then at the end, I'll pull those questions up and I'll have a quick look through and I'll see if there's anything I can answer. So there is an opportunity to answer those questions. It'll just be at the end. I think that's about it for general housekeeping, for being on the call. You can also, this will be recorded and I'm going to put it up on YouTube. So if you know someone else who's participating or you'd like to come back and watch this again later, you'll be able to do that. So please do keep an eye out for that. That'll come from the Perth College team. And so if you do want to rewatch, you can. So the first thing I'd like to say is welcome on behalf of Perth College. Now, because we're running this in Zoom instead of running it inside Teams, this is the joys of technology, I haven't been able to assign a co-host from Perth College. So I'm very sorry that you're getting the welcome officially from Perth College from me instead of from your teachers. But they have asked me to share with you how excited they are to have you participating. They are delighted that you can be part of this program and they're really looking forward to having you as part of the school community. And this is going to be a great way for you guys to get to know each other. You'll probably get some more introduction from the Perth College team as well to add to that. So keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, I'll launch into a bit more about what you've actually signed up for, because I'm not sure if you guys know too much. Hopefully it's a bit of a surprise. You've signed up for Make a Kids Club. Now, Make a Kids Club is a program that's going to show you how to create and launch your own micro business. There's a few reasons that we do programs like this in schools. Enterprise skills are fantastic skills to have. And enterprise skills are things like commercial awareness and problem solving and dealing with customers and money management. And no matter where you end up in the future, skills like these are going to be really helpful to you. They're going to help you whether you end up taking a traditional role as an employee somewhere, whether you end up in the gig economy. These kinds of skills are going to be useful to you wherever you go. And so that's why it's quite exciting that you get to do them. It's actually been shown that people like you who learn about enterprise skills while they're at school get into full-time employment 17 months faster than their peers who don't. So that's a pretty exciting thing to have. And I hope you find that these are very useful to you in the future. Now, you might be wondering who I am. My name's Lacey Filipich, and as I mentioned, I'm the founder of Make a Kids Club. And I'm actually what you would call a portfolio career. If you haven't heard that phrase before, it means when someone does lots of different things in different areas. And that's something that you might experience in your career. As we go further into time, it has become more common for people to juggle multiple roles. But I didn't start out running a business. I actually started out as an engineer. I'm a chemical engineer, and chemical engineers take raw products and turn them into final products. So anywhere where we dig something out of the ground or we produce oil, even in beer and wine and food production, that's where you find chemical engineers. And engineers love problem solving. So if you like problem solving, then that's a fun option for a career. But what I've noticed since doing chemical engineering is the similarity between engineering and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs and engineers do the same thing. They solve problems. It's just that when you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to do it in a financially sustainable way. So you're coming up with a business that's going to create enough revenue and enough income to keep going and service lots of people. And that's the experience you're going to have. So you guys are going to put your problem solving skills to test in this program. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. I won't go into the detail of the content too much. Just rest assured that you'll be able to access everything that you need online. You're going to get instructions on how to sign up for the online portal, which is run at makethekids.education. It has very clear instructions about how to fill in the registration form. And once you get in there, you'll see all the content. But at a very high level, what you're going to be doing is going from brainstorming your business ideas, coming up with ideas for what you would like to do for your business. And that's going to depend on what you're interested in and what problems you want to solve. You're going to try and rank those ideas, find something that's going to work, create a prototype that you can test and take to a bunch of customers to see if they're actually interested in that product. And then you're going to actually launch your business. You're going to create a business plan, a financial plan, a marketing plan. You're going to set up your shop. You're going to launch the business. And then after that, you're going to do some reflection. So that's what you're going to go through this term. Now, some of your Perth College compadres have already started with the program, and they're up to, I think, lesson 4 this week out of 14. So you'll have a little bit of catching up to do, but the good news is it's designed to be able to catch up quickly, and you'll have lots of fun brainstorming ideas this week. So keep an eye out from the Perth College team about what lessons they'd like you to watch coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to be 2 lessons a week rather than just 1, and then you'll be caught up with the rest of the group and you'll get to launch. Now, I do love to share some examples, because you might be wondering, what kind of business ideas do people come up with? And in fact, the business ideas that come from kidpreneurs are hugely varied. There are so many fantastic stories of great ideas. I'm going to give you a bit of inspiration now. So the first one I want to share with you is a young man who launched his own single. So he loves music. This is Gabe. And in 2017, when he was in year 6, he loved playing the guitar, loved singing. He wrote an original song, and this is it here, Paper Planes, and he also launched it on iTunes. So for those of you who are musically inclined, you could consider a business like that. This one is for those of you who might like making visual products. This is a photographer. So one of the students at Mosman Park Primary School last year, very keen on photography, and she went and took some beautiful photos and then bought cheap frames from Kmart. They don't have to be fancy, and put these into frames, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and they sold like hotcakes as well. Another one that I think is fantastic, if you've got a dog at home, any kind of pet who's a bit smelly at both ends, one of our kidpreneurs created these dog biscuits. Now, you can see a very cute logo there. It says Dogalicious. I know it's probably backwards for you, so Dogalicious just there. And information about ordering. These dog biscuits have been created so that you can slip a pill into them. So you can see there's a little hole there. And if you've ever tried to give your dog medicine, it's a real pain. Sometimes they spit it out. And so these biscuits were created to be able to put the pills inside them. And then that way the dog eats them without even noticing. And you might have also noticed some of the stuff that's on top here. This one has parsley in it, so that improves breath. And then they did have some biscuits as well that had charcoal in them, which helps the smells at the other end. So great creative idea. And that came about because Rebecca was sitting with her dog, and her dog kept being smelly while they were watching TV. And she wanted to solve that problem. So she created those biscuits. She thought about what she could do with them, found it worked with her family, and then suddenly everybody wanted to buy them. So Rebecca, who started her business when she was about 13, she would make on an average on a weekend at a market between $450 and $500. So pretty impressive, right, for a kidpreneur. Another story I'd like to share with you is of Stella. Stella started her business in 2016. Stella had a really rough year in 2016. She was 10 at the time, and she's really cranky and quite sad a lot of the time. And I don't know if you guys have had that experience. It's not a lot of fun when it's the joys of puberty. And her mother had asked her to start reading some positive affirmations in the morning. So she had an affirmation sheet that said things like, I am smart, I am kind, I am thoughtful, that kind of stuff. So very basic, sort of reaffirming the kind of person she wanted to be. And she noticed that within a month, her mood had turned around a lot. She was a lot happier. So she decided she wanted to help other kids have that experience. So she ran her business for 3 years. And one of the things she created was these affirmation cards. So they're very simple. You can see a piece of card, and on here it says, today is your time to shine. So not complicated, but she made packs of 31 of those and sold them in these cute little drawstring bags. And the idea was, because there was 31, that a student could look at it each day. You know, you could pick one up in the morning and read your affirmation and have a moment of feeling positive. She found she got such great results with that she started looking at gratitude journals. And your parents might use a gratitude journal. You might even use one. Stella decided she'd try and create gratitude journals. So her first prototype, and this is really important to think about, this is a bit of a tip for you when you get up to lessons 3 and 4, she made a very simple prototype. She bought $3 diaries from Kmart. They're very very plain, you can see, and the glue's already come off. She stuck this on the front. Inside, she put instructions for how to use the gratitude journal. And they're pretty simple. If you've ever heard of a gratitude journal, it's basically thinking about what made you feel good today, what you're grateful for, what's made you feel positive, and writing those down. And just going through that practice lifts your mood, makes you feel better. And so she created that. So $3 from Kmart and some printing. And you can see it's just plain pages. And they sold like hotcakes. Everybody loved them. So after having proved that there was an appetite for it, then she went and made her very fancy versions. These are her official gratitude journal versions. And this artwork is something that she painted on a canvas and then got it made into a digital format. And you can see it's pretty much the same concept. It's the title on the front page. On the inside, you can see there's the instructions, and then it's blank pages. And the blank pages she went for instead of line pages because it allows people to draw. Sometimes you prefer to draw. So they're sold like hotcakes, and she sells them as a package. I wanted to share those examples with you because sometimes when we think about starting our own businesses, our immediate thought is, let's do the lemonade stand, let's do cupcakes, because we've seen a lot of kids do those before, but you don't have to stick with that. And in fact, your school's going to say, please don't do food businesses. Now, you can imagine there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is there's a health and safety consideration. With any business that uses a kitchen, you have to get certification of your kitchen. You have to prove that you're using it properly, that it's properly hygienic, and that you're able to show that you're not going to make anyone sick inadvertently by not having something clean or putting the wrong ingredient somewhere. And of course, things with allergies make a big difference there. Now, when you go to do that process, it can cost a lot of money. It can cost $160 or more, and you have to do it every year. So that's a really big capital cost that we don't want you guys to have to try and take on. The second thing, of course, is hygiene, general hygiene. If you accidentally make a mistake, or your dog sneaks through the kitchen while you aren't looking and licks something and someone gets sick, anything like that is really tough to manage when you're younger and trying to do these things. So we've encouraged you guys to think of something other than food businesses. And of course, the third issue that we've got at the moment, which is, I'll get into a little bit more detail now, how are you going to sell these products? In the past, we have had markets. So you would come to a market and you would set up your stall, just like any market you've been to. If you've been to Perth Makers Market or your local farmers market, you would have seen people setting up stalls. Now, because at the moment, of course, we're practicing a lot of remote learning, and we're not sure at the moment how long it's going to be till we're allowed to have another market. What we're going to do instead is have an online marketplace. Now, food would be very tough to sell online if you weren't doing an immediate delivery and running a kitchen full time. So it's not a great thing to have as your online market. So just keep that in mind when you're brainstorming ideas, that food ones won't be allowed. And there's a few good reasons for that. The great thing about having that online market, though, is it means you can still sell your products and services, even if they're in-person services. So some of the service businesses that I've seen created are things like walking the dog, babysitting, bin washing. That's my favorite one. If someone near East Fremantle comes up with bin washing, please let me know. I will sign up. You could do letter drops. There's all sorts of things like that. Those can still be promoted on the online marketplace that we're developing. It's pretty close now. I'm just signing up the payment gateway to make sure that that all works, and then we'll have it online ready to go. So you'll be able to list your business on our Kidpreneur marketplace, and that means you'll be able to share it with the school community that you're going to be a part of, because Perth College are going to promote that market to everybody in the school, and you'll be able to share it with your family and friends as well. So that's a little bit of background on what you're going to be doing, some ideas and some inspiration. I also wanted to touch on using the online platform. There's a couple of things I just want you to be aware of. And this is because it might be new to you using an online platform. And that's fine, because this is a very quick transition. We've moved from in-person stuff to being online very quickly. And because Perth College haven't had time with you guys yet, I'm not sure how much cybersecurity stuff you're aware of. I just wanted to flag one particular thing for you when you sign up. Now, if you have an email address, you've probably got a password for that email. You might have passwords for other accounts, maybe a gaming account, or if you're using some form of social media. It's really important that you don't use the same password across lots of platforms. The reason for that is sometimes platforms get hacked. It's not necessarily the fault of the people who provide the platform. So your email provider, the gaming system you use, someone might crack into their system and steal passwords. If you use the same password on lots of platforms and they have your email address and password, they can try to get into lots of different accounts. So they might say, oh, I've just found the person's gaming password. I'm going to see if their email password's the same. And suddenly they can get into your email account. Now that's really distressing because it means that if someone's stolen your ID, and you might not know about it at the time, it might take a few weeks for you to find out that someone's actually stolen your account details, then they can go and do all sorts of naughty stuff with your email. They can create a real pain in the bottom for you. And if you've got that one password on that one platform and it's across lots of platforms, you've then got to change the password everywhere. It's really painful. So please have a think about using a different password for this system. And if you have trouble remembering your passwords, the official advice is it's very unlikely that someone's going to break into your house and steal a piece of paper with your passwords on it. So you can write it down if you must. Write it down in the back of a diary, write it down on a piece of paper. Not ideal, but that's one option. The online option, that's really great, I find, personally, because I have probably about 400 accounts that need passwords, is I use an online security for my passwords, which is one system where you have one complicated password that you remember and you log into that system and you can register all the passwords you have with all the platforms that you use, and then it integrates with your web browser so that you just click a button and it says, I'll fill in that password. And it means that I've got 400 very different, very complicated passwords. I only need to remember the one complicated password to get into that system. So there are systems like LastPass and 1Password that you can use. You can sign up for free that will store your passwords securely for you. And so long as you use that system really sensibly, then your risk of people stealing your passwords will decrease a lot. So that's my one cybersecurity tip for you guys when you're signing up for that platform. Please try to use a different password. I have mentioned it on the sign up form when you get that information from your teachers. So that's what's going to happen next. You're going to hear from Perth College, from your wonderful providers of this. I'm so excited for you guys. It's a really thoughtful, kind thing that Perth College are doing to include you guys in this program and give you the opportunity to get to know the school in this way. And you're going to get to know people who are going to be your classmates in the future. There'll be opportunities for you to chat and get involved in classes. And of course, you'll get to know the teachers. So it's really lovely that they're offering this to you. I think it's the first school that I've seen do this. I think it's outstanding that they've gone ahead to include you guys in this way. And I hope that you have a really positive experience in that respect and that you can treat this as a bit of fun. And the context I think you want to think about with this as well, which I get really excited about, is that obviously life's changed a lot. We're all having a very different experience probably to what we're used to at the moment. I'm sitting here with a sheet rigged up behind me in my house because I can't go to my office. And you guys have probably had experiences like that too. You might be working from home. You might be studying out in the park or in your backyard. Who knows? It's very interesting times, and you've probably got your family at home, if some of you do at the moment as well. So it can be very strange times. Now, obviously, out of this, no one saw the coronavirus coming. No one expected this to happen, except for maybe Bill Gates and the other people who are experts in this field. But most lay people, us, didn't know that it was coming. And so this has created problems that we didn't see were going to arrive. Problems like, how do I set up my home office? Problem like, how do I get hand sanitizer? And should I wear a face mask? And how do I stay connected to my friends and family when I'm stuck in my house? There are problems that we've never had before. And what I get excited about, and what I hope you get excited about, is that entrepreneurs are the people who are able to solve these problems and make them financially sustainable. Entrepreneurs are going to come up with ideas that are going to fix these problems for people. They're going to make people feel better about their lives. They're going to make people feel better about the situation they're in. They're going to alleviate some of the problems this has created. And these are new problems that no one solved before. So it won't surprise me at all if you guys come up with amazing business ideas that are going to be better than even a lot of the adults can come up with. I think you're going to be solving some incredible problems, and this is your opportunity to do that and to create something positive out of this situation that's going to make everybody else feel better and give us all hope. So I think that's actually a very exciting time, even though it's uncomfortable and it's something that we haven't been through before and it comes with quite a bit of stress. I think it's wonderful that you guys are going to have the chance to make some positive changes for people and come up with some great ideas to solve those problems. And I cannot wait to see what they are. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I just wanted to give you that very brief overview, a bit of inspiration for some ideas and a bit of context about thinking about the problems that have come up that we haven't seen before. Now, I'm having a look at the Q&A panel and I can't see any questions that have come through. So hopefully that means you don't have any questions that you're worried about, but this is your opportunity now. If you have any specific questions, you can type them in and I will do my best to answer them. As I said, the next steps from here are you'll get an official welcome from Perth College. And as I said, that's my fault. Sorry that they weren't able to get onto the webinar to officially welcome you. I hope that I have done a good enough job in their stead, but expect an official welcome from the team at Perth College. You can also expect to get the information for how to log in and some flyers. Oh, I've got a question. How exciting. From Maureen. Where can we find some ideas for things to make? Great question, Maureen. Now, I'll give you a couple of things you can look at. So first of all, what you would want to do, and you're going to go through this process in the video, you're going to get encouraged to think about a few things. You're going to get to, when you get to lesson 1, which is about brainstorming, the first video. In the video that you're going to watch, and it's my talking head, similar to this, saying, hi guys, and let's get started. You're going to be asked to think about, what do your friends and family use? What are common products and services that they use that you think you could do better or add something to? You're going to be asked to think about what problems you can solve. What are people complaining about at the moment around you? What are your friends complaining about? What are your parents complaining about? And how could you solve those problems? And then looking around at things that you like to do. So the source of things to create is really limited to how much attention you pay to what's going on around you and how much research you do. If you get really stuck, I have got a list of about 33 ideas that are fantastic ideas that I've seen kidpreneurs do. And there's an ebook that I think it's downloadable on my website, but what I'll do is make sure I give the link to the teachers so that you can download that. And in it, it's got, as I said, a list of 33 things that are very common ideas. But I would explain that, go for gold, go nuts with this stuff. You can think about whatever you would like to do and get really excited about it. And also have a look at the success stories that I'll share for some inspiration. So I shared a few with you then. The gratitude journals and the affirmation cards, the dog biscuits, the photos. There's heaps more stories like that on the website of success stories. So you'll be able to have a look at those and get into it and see if one of those triggers another idea for you. But the first lesson is all about doing that brainstorming. So don't worry if you don't have an idea that's a winner straight up. You're not supposed to. Go through the brainstorming process. I'll just check the chat quickly and then I'll come back to Ruby's question. Let me see if I can see the chat. I've just seen something from Deb. Yes, thank you, Lacey. That's from Deb. That's one of your teachers. We'll reach out to all participants later with the registration details. So yes, you'll get that link to register later. Ruby's got a question. How will we know what to make, and will this program go on after COVID-19 is over? Because I love it so far. Oh, Ruby, that's wonderful. I'm delighted that you love it. So just for some background on Make a Kids Club, we've been running this program for 3 years and it's been online the whole time. So the process that you're going to go through has been used by schools, it's been used by homeschoolers, private families, and it's the same course content. So it's 14 lessons, my talking head, and then you do the worksheets. The only thing that's different in this case is that you're not sitting in a classroom with the teacher to watch the video. You're doing it at home and doing the worksheet at home. But it is designed to go between those modalities. It can be used at home or it can be used in the classroom. So what I would expect is if the restrictions are lifted at some point, which they will be lifted at some point, we just don't know when, then Perth College will be in touch with you to see how that's going to work and see whether they might do maybe an in-person session or whether they can hold a physical market. But the idea is that you can transition seamlessly between either of them. And having an online spot on the marketplace and having a physical one, you can have both. You don't have to choose one or the other. So even if we create the online marketplace and then all of a sudden we're allowed to have a market, then we'll be able to have both going. So don't worry too much about that at the moment. But yeah, it is designed to keep going like this. It is designed to have this format. We're just experimenting with some new things like webinars like this. But I hope you'll find that the experience, whether it transitions for both or it stays completely at home for you, will be the same. And of course, you get a lot of my talking head. There's a couple of other things that I've added as support. So you'll see there's an updates page, which I'll do a video each week and answer your questions. So if you've got more questions like this, you can submit them via a form on that page. You'll see that once you've got your login sorted out. So once you get that email from Perth College, make sure that you jump on, register, and you'll get access to that. And then if you have a specific question, you can fire it off to me and I'll answer it in a video like this each Friday. I've got another question here from Velvet. Velvet, can you do it in pairs? Yes, you can. So usually in a classroom, you'd be sitting next to each other, right? You'd look at your friend and go, hey, I would like to participate with you. This would be great. Now, obviously being online, it's a little bit harder, but as I understand it, Perth College are going to arrange a kind of buddy system for you. So you will get paired up with people in your class, which is more of a general buddying, not necessarily that you start a business together. But there will be opportunities for you to get to know your classmates and possibly to see if there's a chance to work on a project. So for example, let's say you particularly want to work on affirmation cards and someone else in the class particularly wants to work on affirmation cards, then maybe you can look at pairing together. We do recommend that the group size stay to either 2 or 3. Once you get more than 2 or 3 people, well, once you get to 4, it really becomes a bit unwieldy. Becomes very hard to operate, and especially when you're trying to negotiate remotely. But if you do know that someone else in this program is participating and you'd like to work with them, then you could probably talk to your teacher pretty soon and say, we'd like to work together as a pair. And then you guys just need to work out how you're going to get together online, most likely, to work on the project. But it can be great fun. My one piece of advice for you, if you do decide to work with someone, is don't automatically default to your best friend. Look for someone who's got complementary skills to yours. So if you're really good with the finance, but you're not good at talking to people, then look for someone who's good at talking to people. And they'd probably be very happy to have someone who's good with the finance. Try to find complementary skills if you're going to go in pairs. I've got another couple of questions here, so I'll keep running through these. So we've got an anonymous attendee. When will we get to do the market? The market is officially lesson 10. So as I mentioned before, we're up to about lesson 4 at the moment, which means that the market would be in 6 to 7 weeks. So what's that going to put us in? Mid-May. So you've got plenty of time, and there'll be heaps of time for you guys to develop your businesses and scope it all out. And actually, it's a good question. I better check with your teacher on that. It might be late May because you've probably got school holidays in which they're not going to run classes. So stand by for confirmation from Perth College, but it will be at least 6 weeks away, maybe 8 to 10 weeks away. That's when the market will open. So what you'll find is the first 4 lessons that you're going to go through, which is the next couple of weeks, is focused on coming up with your idea. Don't worry too much about the market part until you've got the idea. Then the following 3 lessons, you go through the business plan, the marketing plan, and the financial plan, and that's the point at which you're going to start thinking about what you need to put online to create your business. So you'll hear from the teachers about that, but yeah, at least mid-May, maybe late May, so just stand by for confirmation on that. So that's when the actual market will open, and what we'll do is have it so that it's closed and you guys get everything set up so that no one else can go in and have a look for a while. And then it will be linked to the Perth College page. And then once the market is live in week 10 or lesson 10, you'll be able to say, hey, everybody, come and have a look at the market and come and order your products or services. Okay, we've got another question from A. Griffiths. How are we able to deliver products to people who'd like to buy? Very good question. Now, at the moment, I've got to negotiate this with Perth College. I expect what we will have is some kind of system where there'll be the opportunity for products to be left at the school and collected at an agreed time, rather than encouraging you to go and do house deliveries, because that introduces a lot of complexity, right? And it means you've got to find transport. It means you're taking a bit of risk and you're going to do contactless deliveries, all that kind of thing. We will come up with a system that allows you to deliver something via the school, okay? So it might mean that it takes a bit longer to get the product to someone, which is a good reason for not having it being food, right? Because we don't want it sitting there for 3 days. But we'll come up with a system that will allow you to drop all your products off to the school and then with their orders completed and then get people to collect them. Hope that makes sense. If you've got any more questions on that, you can let me know. Ruby's asked another question. Can you do it with a friend who is not doing the program? Because my friend would love to do it. I'm going to defer to the Perth College team on that. The good news is if you've got friends who are keen on doing this program, but they're not coming into Perth College, the program is also offered privately. It's exactly the same program in terms of the content. They just don't have a teacher facilitating it in the lesson plans. So if your friend's really keen and needs to watch the videos, then maybe get in touch with me, Ruby. And when you get the flyer, my contact details, my email and my phone's on there, and we can talk about how we can include your friend. I expect Perth College are going to ask you to just work on things together that you can, that you're in charge of with the team, and maybe look within the group, but I will talk to Perth College about that and get confirmation. It's a great question. It's one I hadn't thought about. So we'll let you know, Ruby, okay? Okay, I think that's all the questions that we've got. Fantastic. Okay, I am absolutely delighted to see what you guys come up with. I cannot wait to hear what business ideas you choose and how you go through testing it and who decides to buy. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I would really encourage you, if you get stuck with something. So you've asked quite a few questions here, which is great. You're probably going to think of questions later on. You're probably going to be having dinner tonight or having a shower and go, oh, I should have asked this question. Or as you work through the program, you're going to get stuck on things, and you can ask the teachers first. But if you're really having trouble, you are most welcome to get in touch with me. As I mentioned, there's a form on the website that you can click. You can submit your details, submit your question. No one else sees it but me, and then I answer it the same way I'm answering it now. I'll say, hi, Ruby, just answering your question. And I'll pretty much stick to first names with that, so don't worry about too many identifying features. But you'll be able to watch those videos each week to be able to get your questions answered, just so that you've got some extra support, because this is interesting times. You're not in the classroom and you can't go and ask the teacher face to face. So we'll do everything we can to make sure you've got the support you need. I think that's everything for today. Thanks so much for participating. As I mentioned, this has been recorded, and I will be popping that recording up on YouTube, and I will send that to the Perth College team very soon, and they'll be able to include that to go out. In case you want to rewatch this, in case you need to share it with someone who has missed out on this session. That'll be sitting there on YouTube. And I am super excited, guys. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. It's going to be fantastic. And so start thinking about those problems you'd like to solve. Start thinking about what you might be interested in making or creating, what gaps you can fill. Keep your ears open and your eyes open, and look for those wonderful ideas, because that's where you're going to find the gold. Okay, everybody, take care. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and I will talk to you all via my talking head on screen soon. Okay, bye.